Iron Man on PS3 can kiss my ass. On paper, this should be a brilliant idea. You're flying in a robot suit, blowing shit up. How can you possibly fuck that up? Simple. With one button. Hold halfway to hover. It's like alliteration from hell. That means if you press hover, you fly up into space and you can't shoot anyone. And if you let go, you fall to the ground. Or you can fly so goddamn fast that you can't shoot anyone. Now, some games like Mario Sunshine use halfway buttons, but this isn't Mario Sunshine. It's a game where tanks will shoot off your pencil beard if you don't shoot them first. But I can't shoot them if I'm fighting the controls to stay up in the air. I don't know what's more depressing, the fact that they got this right in the PS2 version, or the fact that Iron Man is so old that it had a PS2 game. Iron Man 2 tries to fix this. You can hover in place now, so that's good. But now it's the levels that suck. Level 1. Babysit this tower, or you lose. Level 2. Babysit these helicopters, or you lose. If you try to fly ahead of them, you lose. If you wait for enemies, they overwhelm you and you lose. But let's cut to the chase. We already have 2 good Iron Man games. They're called Zone of the Enders. There's no Iron Man in them, but you are flying in a robot suit blowing shit up. The movement is so fluid. The combat, oh man. You got a lightsaber, you got missiles, you got machine guns, you got a spirit bomb. And here's the funny part. Both of those games also have babysitting missions, and even those are done better. The first game has you fighting in big cities with lots of people, and you have to make sure not to hit any buildings, otherwise people die. It sounds like a chore, but you can make enemies chase you into open spaces away from the city. You can even throw them into the air and fight them in the sky. The second game just has you pick up the guy you're escorting, and you can drop him in a corner so you can fight in peace. Or you can use him as bait and gang up on the bad guys crowding around him.
You're about to kill me! Stop it!
It takes the worst possible level ideas, and instead of restraining the combat, it enhances it. It's amazing what you can do when movement and combat are fun. The only downside I can think of is that it's anime. It's not even good anime, it's unintentionally funny.
You devil! Dingo! Come back. I like you.
But honestly, I'd rather have this than someone doing a bad Tony Stark impression.
Gold stars for everyone. Jarvis, we're going east. Round of White Russians? Cheers, everybody.
Thor: God of Thunder is the only video game that put me to sleep, and I played Death Stranding. It's a beat-em-up like in God of War. You have quick-time finishers like in God of War. You have health orbs, like in God of War, and you fight monsters from Norse mythology, like in Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. Look, nobody cares if you rip off God of War, but you've got to have some creative inspiration. X-Men Origins Wolverine is the polar opposite of Thor. Shitty movie, but a decent beat-em-up. Why? Because the combat is actually creative. You got this lunge attack that never gets old. You got this berserker mode that makes you heal faster. You can throw enemies. You can do this move. And this move. And this move. There's so many violent, disgusting ways to rip people apart in this game. But in Thor, the combat feels repetitive and slow because you got to wait until you're close to the enemy. Wait until your magic powers up. Wait until you level up for better moves. But why would I wait for cool shit later if the combat isn't fun now? Besides, there's already a good Thor game. It's called Infamous 2. In this game, you got lightning powers, and you don't have to wait for all the good moves. Right off the bat, you can fire lightning at people, zip across power lines, glide through the air. You even have your own weapon that conducts electricity. They don't call it Mjolnir, but it's Mjolnir. But you can't throw your weapon or have it fly back to you. If you want that, then you have to play God of War. The Incredible Hulk is a fucking slap in the face. Not only are the controls slippery and unresponsive, not only is the combat boring and uninspired, not only are the enemies broken and cheap, but it was ripping off one of the best superhero games ever made, Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. It was Grand Theft Auto, but you're the Hulk. When you're not hopping from building to building and running up walls, you're destroying every car in traffic, punching people and soldiers, running over trees and street lamps. What's that? Helicopters are shooting at you? Then jump up in the air and throw a truck at it. Rip a car in half and turn it into boxing gloves. Send out a shockwave that wipes out everything in its path. And all that destruction isn't just a waste of time. You get points for all the damage you cause, and you use those points to unlock stronger moves and bigger attacks. This game was awesome. I don't know how you fucked that up. You would think that Incredible Hulk would be better because it came out much later and on better consoles. Nope. It has all the same features as the old game, but none of the polish. Little things that I took for granted are gone in this game. There used to be a soft auto-lock on grounded enemies. Not anymore. There used to be health when you defeated someone. Not anymore. I used to not get stuck on fucking buildings. I used to be able to stand on buildings. You can tell that this game was made by people that made open world games. And this was made by the guys that made Shark Tale. But you don't even need to make it open world to make it good. Years before Ultimate Destruction, they already made a good Hulk game. It was called Rampage. True, these games are older than some people's moms, but they had so much personality. They still do. And more importantly, you can make your monster green. See? It's just like the Hulk. But now you can eat people. You can still destroy cars and tanks and helicopters and planes and even UFOs. Every building you climb is full of secrets inside. You can find food and health packs and power-ups for stronger attacks. You can find TVs that electrocute you or washing machines that squirt you. You can eat something bad that makes you throw up. You can find a guy taking a shit and eat him right there. Or you can just let the building collapse while he's still inside. Or set the building on fire. You can jump on small buildings like a trampoline. You can kick grandma across the street. This game is mean, but it's so simple and cathartic and fun. But it is old. It came out on Nintendo 64 and PlayStation. So if you want a modern game where you play as a super strong angry man, then I suggest God of War. And finally, there's Captain America Super Soldier. I saved this one for last because it's the hardest to explain. Everything is bad in this game, except for Captain America. He controls really well, and the combat's a lot like the Batman Arkham games, but with the shield combat from the Zelda games. But I can't say it's good because the rest of the game sucks. It encourages you to explore the world, but the level design is so empty and monotonous. It reminds me of Wolfenstein. And no, not the new ones. I'm talking about old school Wolfenstein, where every place you go looks exactly the fucking same. Even with the map, you can still get lost because the levels have no personality. The frame rate is constantly dropping. Enemies and bosses are repetitive and uninspired. And that's when it hit me. I had the exact same complaints about Marvel's Avengers. The characters control fine. It's the rest of the game that feels unfinished and boring. Why does this keep happening to Captain America? Even Captain America and the Avengers did this. It was a good arcade game, but the console ports were ruined by slowdowns and unfair hitboxes. But once again, Captain America controlled really well. And worst of all, he doesn't have a good alternative. He doesn't have a Rampage or an Infamous or a Zone of the Enders. The shield combat is so nuanced and unique that no other game has replicated it. Not really. Poor bastard. I thought Captain America could find his place in the world of video games, but he has the same problem that he does in his own movies. While he himself has adapted to the modern age, he's lost in an era that's also lost itself. In the end, he's just a relic of better times long past. It doesn't make sense because new video games are supposed to be better than old ones, but that just doesn't apply to games with Captain America in them. Well, shit, I don't want to end this on a sad note. There's got to be some alternative. Let me see. Here we go. The Guardian Shield is a retractable shield seen in God of... No. Oh, wait! Rygar! You guys remember Rygar, right? For PS2, you fight with a shield on a chain, which plays exactly like God of War. Wait a minute. Rygar was an arcade game long before God of War came out. Did God of War copy Rygar? Nothing has changed. You know what? Just fucking play God of War.
No matter how strong the forces